So today I want to show you how you can do some dry brushing. So I just took an old example of an animal head that was sitting in the room, and I made sure that it was painted all black. Now to do dry brushing, you don't have to do an all black base. You could do a base color that makes sense for your animal. But with this particular piece, I am going to show you how to do the dry brushing with a metallic paint. So I have different metallics. This one is called bronze. This is antique gold, so it's going to be a much darker golden color. This one is straight up gold, so it's going to be the brightest. This one is Aztec gold, so it's going to look a little bit more aged. We have silver. And then I also have a bronze yellow, which is going to be kind of like a lighter golden color. So I'm going to actually take the copper and I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of paint onto a piece of newspaper. So I didn't put too much paint onto my newspaper. I don't need a whole lot necessarily. Let me get it so you can see, but I put a blob. If I need more, I can get more. Now, what I'm going to do is take my dry brush and I'm going to put these brushes by the acrylic paints. And then what I want to do is to basically rub out the paint. This is how we get to a dry brush. So this process is not necessarily the fastest process. So if you notice, I have some pretty strong color there. I actually want to rub some more out of my paint bristles. I don't want it to be so dramatic as I'm working. I want to build the color up kind of slow. And I think going in circular motions back and forth are going to kind of help even out any brush lines. Now, if I want this to be a lot more coppery, I would let it dry a little bit and add more layers. But because I want to control how bright and shiny this is, I'm just going to do it a little bit at a time. So it's really super important that you are brushing out most of the paint. You don't need a lot of paint. In fact, if you put too much on too fast, it's going to look kind of weird. But you can really see that back on the side of the head, it's very, very light compared to where I first started working. So then I would just dip my brush in, rub out, and then I would add more. And I can keep building up those layers until I get it to my liking. And again, I'm kind of going in circular motions to help even it out. I don't want it to look like I just drew some lines on. But you can see now, I'm starting to build that copper color up. I would want to do this all over the piece. And I highly recommend that you do it all over, kind of getting it to be the same consistency of color. And then from there, you can always go back and build up more layers if you want it to be brighter or if you want it to be shiny. The goal, though, is not to completely cover your piece with the acrylic paint you're dry brushing. You want to have some of that black or your base color kind of showing underneath. This is what really helps create that idea of depth. So because of the metallic look, I picked a black base. If I was creating an animal that was maybe brown, maybe I would do a dark brown base. And then I could also do metallics on top of, just a different color than black. But black seems to really make the metallics stand out. So that's why I selected the black base. If you're dry brushing other color, so let's say I didn't want to make this look metallic at all, I could have dry brushed gray onto it and built up a gray color. I could have dry brushed multiple colors on to help create fur or the look of fur. And so you can see this is taking a few minutes. And so now I have like that first layer of bronze on the front of the face. I would continue on to the neck and under the chin. So you don't want to just do this in one area. You want to make sure that you cover the whole piece. Make sure you're really rubbing that paint out. So that blob I used has really been quite enough paint so far, but if I need more, I can always get more. And the goal is to do this slow. It's a slow build of color. So I want to go back in and get this eyeball, try to get it all even. So like I was saying, I would continue on to do the neck. There's no real reason why I would leave the neck black other than just for time's sake. So I have a layer on the front and I can continue to build up that color. So if I want it brighter, I already have a layer on. Do the same thing, kind of rub it out. And then I'm just kind of working in a circular motion. I'm not trying to put a solid coating. That takes away from the idea of the dry brush. The dry brush does let some of your base show through. That's normal. And so now you can see I'm starting to build up a little bit more sheen. And then I can continue to do that. So that's just a little bit of instruction on how to do the metallics with the dry brushing. So happy dry brushing.